want to give a big thank you to all the police officers out there. They leave their family for us to go out and protect us. I want to give a big thank you, and I appreciate everything that you guys do for us. We're going to be checking out this Jeep. It used to be a police vehicle. We're going to be talking about the pros and cons about this vehicle when you buy it. So stay tuned.
Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? When you were 8 and you had bad traits.
Everything that the police used has been either plugged off or siliconed off or just taken out of the Jeep. Now, this particular Jeep didn't have lights on top, it had lights on the inside. But that's not what I'm going to be talking about. You know, I'm going to be talking about why you should buy one and maybe why you shouldn't. It's the pros and cons about this particular vehicle. Because this goes for any old police car, any old police Jeep, any old police anything. Because the first thing is, this Jeep only has 140 some thousand miles on it. But there's more to it than just that. This vehicle, you got to think, has a lot of idle hours. You know, police sit around with their vehicle on, especially in the summertime. They have the AC on, the AC's cranking, and their car's just sitting there idling and whatnot. And believe it or not, it's really hard on an engine just to sit and idle. A vehicle doesn't like that. Now, 4.0s are strong, we all know that, and I believe the 4.0s got weaker the newer they got. That's just my opinion. Show you there's not no special unicorns or anything under this here police Jeep, because they just when they ordered these Jeeps, they were just SUVs, and it just had these straight six with the Chrysler transmission. So there's nothing special under here, there's nothing fancy. It's got the coil packs on the motor. It's just a 4.0 Jeep motor. That's just I guess it's a 4.0 Power Tech. The thing with this particular 2004, this is a 2004. It's very lazy. The transmission's very lazy. It kind of shifts hard every once in a while, and that 4.0 don't put out what it's supposed to, compared to the 4.0s that I'm used to driving. You have to keep that in mind when you're buying one of these. You might get a police cruiser or a Crown Vic or just whatever police car it was with 80,000 miles on it, but the idle hours is probably way above that. And like I said, when you let a vehicle idle that long, especially in a hot day, 80-degree weather, your car's out there just idling, and it's not good on it, because a lot of vehicles will have an idle switch where you can idle the vehicle up a little bit, so it just keeps the engine moving instead of just sitting there idling. But I do not see one in this vehicle, so it's probably had a lot of idle hours. So that's another thing to keep in mind. Now, usually the maintenance on these vehicles, if it was a good police department, now if it come out of some little sketchy town that's weird, they probably are not going to be that good. But if it come out of a decent sized town, the maintenance on these vehicles are usually kept up pretty good. The ball joints, the tie rods, the everything. Anything to do with the undercarriage usually is maintenance well. Oil changes, tranny fluid changes, all that's usually done really well. Because, you know, a police officer is driving this thing. Sometimes they do high-speed chases or whatever. So they keep all that stuff up. Now, another thing you have to look into is the interior. Now, this interior is disgusting. It's been abused and used. If you ever get one, make sure you scrub the back seat. Make sure you scrub the floors. I'd recommend just scrubbing the whole vehicle, because you don't know who was in the back, you don't know who was in the front, you don't know who was in the very back. So I recommend, you know, scrubbing everything up. Now, like I said, usually when a police department gets rid of a vehicle, it's when they upgrade. Police departments around here use vehicles till there ain't nothing left, so it really doesn't benefit you that much to buy a police vehicle. But when it comes to a Jeep like this, you could probably pick these up for anywhere from $800 to $1,000, and this is a 2004. The things that cracked me up about Jeep though in 2004, everything was so basic. Even the basic models you buy today on a car lot is advanced, but back then it's still basic stuff. I feel like I'm in a 1989 Buick or something. You got these push up and down buttons, and you got these that pop out, and then when you turn the radio on, I know it's just so old school. Come down here, then you have 1, 2 drive and overdrive. You can turn overdrive off by hitting this button, and it has your 4-wheel drive shifter. This is a 4-wheel drive vehicle. Overall, this vehicle is amazing. Like I said, it's a little bit lazy. It kind of shifts hard, and that's the cons of buying one of these. Most of them have been rode hard and put away wet, especially when you get into bigger cities. They usually run their vehicles pretty hard when they're chasing somebody, and really a Jeep is not meant to do that. This is just something that somebody drives around and pulls people over in town. It's another thing to keep in mind. If you're going to buy a Jeep, Police Interceptor, or whatever you want to call it, I almost guarantee you the motor will be perfect. Usually a 4.0 will handle a lot. They generate a lot of heat anyway, so they're usually pretty good. It's the transmissions in these that suck. They're not that good. This one shifts hard, like I said. I don't know if the tranny's getting ready to come out, but I don't like Chrysler trannies. I'm not into that. I wish they would have just kept the AW4s and put against that, because the AW4 wasn't as lazy as this transmission is, because this transmission is just as lazy as the 98 Dodge that we have, and it's lazy too. It's just the nature. Dodge has always been a lazy vehicle. Even my 2015 is lazy when it comes to the transmission. So it's just something that they do, and my recommendations, if you're going to drive a Jeep like this and it has overdrive, drive it with the overdrive off. It'll make the transmission last longer, from my experience. That way it's not always shifting to overdrive and around town and stuff like that. The big question is, should you buy a used police car? Yes and no. It depends what you want to do, because most of the time they're going to need work, and it's hard to score a good police vehicle that was used in maintenance unless it was a chief car. Usually you get junk when you buy these. That's why they go so cheap, or they've been wrecked. Recommendation is to go out there and look, see what you can find. If you could score a Jeep like this, it's in decent shape. The paint's all messed up, scratched up, it's wore out. The Jeep itself really wore out, but there still is some life left into this Jeep. So don't be scared to buy something like this, but make sure you look it over. Make sure the engine's good, make sure the tranny's good. And if you have time, if you're buying it from a police headquarters or maybe an auction, find out where the vehicle came from and look up the town. So see how big the town is. If it's a trashy town and it's kind of run down, honestly, the vehicle's probably not worth buying, because little towns like that, they're cheap. They want to hold on to their money. They don't maintenance the vehicles. They run them to death, and then they sell them and buy new ones. That's just how they do it. Now, if it's a decent sized town, it looks like a really nice town, they usually take care of their employees, and they usually take care of their vehicles. That's another thing to look at when you're buying a used vehicle. And you're not going to get a perfect vehicle when you buy an old police cruiser. It's because there's going to be holes in the dash, there's going to be holes in the console, there's going to be holes everywhere, there's going to be sticky stuff everywhere, there's going to be some stuff on the windshield that's stuck on there. There's stuff that's going to be taken out of here that's going to leave a mark for the rest of its life. That's just how it is. But if you're looking to buy something cheap to wheel and fix up, this is the perfect vehicle. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I just wanted to make a little video on this to let you guys know it's okay to buy something like this. Don't be scared to go out and buy an old police vehicle. Like I said, just make sure you look it over first and don't buy junk. But leave your feedback in the comments below. Make sure you hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, hit the little bell beside it so you know when I upload a video. I'm Cherokee Ronnie, and stay dirty, my friends.